You might not realize it, but the first choices you make right after waking up have a profound impact on your health, especially once you're past 60. For many older folks, mornings have simply become an automatic repetition of old habits. However, according to the accounts left by Edgar Cayce, some of these habits could be silently shortening your life. We're not talking about complex decisions or extreme behaviors, but rather simple actions, repeated every day, that accumulate serious consequences over time. The aging body responds differently to stimuli that once seemed harmless. What was once just a slight discomfort can now become the trigger for lasting problems. In this video, we'll explore the most common morning mistakes many seniors make without realizing it. And even more importantly, we'll understand why these habits need to be avoided and what Edgar Cayce warned us about them. Perhaps you've never stopped to consider how your day begins, but the truth is, this time holds hidden traps that affect your body, your mind, and even your vital energy. Cayce, in his readings and visions, was clear in emphasizing that the first few minutes after waking are decisive for the body's balance. A simple gesture, like getting up abruptly or neglecting to drink water first thing, might seem small, but according to him, these are choices that slowly weaken the body's defenses. If you want to live with more clarity, vitality, and lucidity in your later years, understanding and correcting these mistakes is fundamental, and if this topic resonates with you, please consider subscribing to the channel and leaving a like. That way, you'll keep up with our next videos and help us reach more people with this essential information. One of the most common mistakes reported by experts and confirmed in Cayce's readings is ignoring hydration upon waking. During sleep, the body naturally loses fluids, whether through breathing, perspiration, or cellular activity. Upon waking, the blood is thicker, organs are slower, and digestion is still dormant. Drinking warm water right after getting up helps activate the kidneys, eliminate toxins, and prepare the digestive system for the day. Cayce even recommended adding a few drops of lemon to further stimulate the liver and gallbladder. Ignoring this simple gesture every day overloads internal organs, promotes fluid retention, and can impair bowel function, which for seniors already tends to be slower. Another serious mistake is getting out of bed quickly and without body awareness. An older person who wakes up and immediately stands up abruptly is straining joints that have been at rest for hours. Cayce said that the body needs a gentle transition between sleep and activity, especially for those over 60. The ideal is to open your eyes calmly, breathe deeply, stretch your arms and legs while still lying down, and only then sit up slowly. This transition respects the heart's rhythm, prevents drops in blood pressure, and reduces the risk of dizziness or household accidents. Many morning accidents happen not due to weakness, but due to haste or lack of preparation. Cayce advised respecting the body's signals upon waking as an essential part of longevity. There's also a subtle but very common mistake, ignoring your bowels first thing in the morning. Cayce frequently emphasized the importance of eliminating toxins accumulated overnight. When the body wakes up, the organism naturally enters a mode of release. Holding back, delaying a trip to the bathroom, or not stimulating the bowels with water and movement are attitudes that, over time, lead to chronic constipation, bloating, gas, and even joint pain, according to his observations. Furthermore, constipation directly impacts mood, mental clarity, and sleep. Starting the day with this blockage prevents the body from functioning at its fullest. Therefore, developing the habit of listening to your body upon waking and respecting this moment is a powerful step towards well-being. One mistake many consider harmless, but which Cayce regarded as one of the most dangerous: starting the day complaining or focusing on worries. According to him, the mental state upon waking sets the vibrational tone of the body for the rest of the day. Complaining about pain, the weather, loneliness, or pending tasks puts the nervous system on alert, generating stress right in the first few hours. For the aging body, this early emotional discharge is toxic and weakens immunity. Instead, Cayce recommended a thought of gratitude, however simple. The way you talk to yourself upon waking shapes not only your mood, but your physical health. And this, though it seems small, makes all the difference as the years go by. Another often overlooked point is the impact of eating improperly at the start of the day. Cayce observed that the body, upon waking, needs foods that nourish it lightly and progressively, respecting the organism's natural rhythm. Many seniors still maintain the habit of consuming highly processed, sugary or heavy foods for breakfast, believing it will give them energy. However, this choice generates the exact opposite: glucose spikes, a feeling of fatigue, and mental sluggishness. The ideal, according to Cayce, would be to start the day with fruits, light grains, and warm liquids. This type of food cooperates with the bowels, activates circulation, and promotes mental clarity. Very cold or industrialized foods, besides hindering digestion, can interfere with mood and sleep throughout the day. Eating well in the morning is a sign of respect for one's own body and for the life that still pulses with strength. The sixth fatal morning mistake is related to a lack of exposure to natural light. Many seniors spend the first hours of the day indoors under artificial light, ignoring the essential role of the sun in hormone regulation. Cayce said that the human body was designed to wake up with the daylight. Sunlight directly affects the production of serotonin and melatonin, substances fundamental for mood and sleep. Ignoring this contact weakens the biological clock, disrupts appetite, and impairs physical disposition. A simple gesture like opening the windows, walking for a few minutes in the yard or on the porch is enough to reprogram the body. Cayce argued that natural light in the morning is like an invisible food that reactivates the body's defense system. Without it, the organism ages faster than it should, even if all other care is being taken. The seventh mistake, perhaps the most common among seniors, is starting the day without purpose or clear intention. Cayce warned that the human soul needs direction, especially in old age. Waking up merely out of inertia, without knowing why or for what, weakens not only the body but the will to live. Having a small daily goal, however simple, helps the mind stay active, the heart feel useful, and the spirit remain awake. It's not about making grand plans, but about staying in motion, having a reason to get up with dignity. It could be caring for a plant, writing something, calling someone, or organizing a drawer. Cayce said that the body falls ill when the soul ceases to express itself, and the best time to activate that expression is precisely in the first hours of the morning. These 7 mistakes, however simple they may seem, build a pattern of invisible wear and tear. It's as if the body receives small aggressions every day, accumulating physical and emotional strain. Cayce emphasized that morning habits are the foundation of a long, active, and lucid life. By ignoring them, we make room for silent illnesses, drops in energy, discouragement, and difficulties that could be avoided. He believed that seniors don't need to accept aging as a process of decline. On the contrary, he said that maturity can be the wisest and most productive period of existence, provided the body and mind are treated with awareness from the very first moment of the day. Small morning changes, when made consistently, generate great transformations. It's important to understand that these guidelines are not rigid rules, but rather invitations to personal observation. Cayce did not speak with imposition, but with compassion. He believed that each person has their own rhythm, and that true progress happens when there is awareness of one's own habits. Correcting a morning mistake does not require extreme effort, only presence and respect for one's own body. Gradually, by adopting healthier and more conscious practices, seniors begin to feel improvements in energy, disposition, and even in the joy of living. The secret lies in the daily repetition of simple choices made with attention. And when these choices come in the morning, the rest of the day benefits. Cayce saw this as a spiritual key to life's balance. By recognizing these mistakes, you've already taken an important step towards transformation. It's not about seeking perfection, but about creating an internal environment more conducive to health and vitality. Each morning is a new chance to start better, with more calm, more awareness, and more purpose. The body gives thanks, the mind clears, and the spirit strengthens. Cayce saw the morning routine as a mirror of the soul, and that's why he placed so much emphasis on this topic. When a senior starts their day with the right choices, everything around them seems to reorganize. The home feels lighter, thoughts become more positive, and even relationships grow smoother. A well-lived morning has the power to transform not just a day, but an entire phase of life. If you've stayed with us this long, perhaps you're wondering where to begin. After all, changing habits isn't easy, especially when they've been ingrained for decades. But Cayce often said that the first step isn't the change itself, but the willingness to change. By sincerely observing your own routine, you begin to identify what can be adjusted without guilt, without haste, and without fear. The simple act of waking up with more attention, drinking a glass of water, taking a deep breath, or opening the window is already a sign of transformation. No one needs to change everything at once. Small daily adjustments, made with intention, create a new rhythm for life. And it's precisely this new rhythm that sustains health, reduces risks, and increases the feeling of well-being, even on the most difficult days. Cayce also spoke about the importance of conscious repetition. He believed that repeating good habits in the morning was a way to train not only the body but also the soul. According to him, each day offers a new opportunity to plant seeds. If you start your morning with healthy habits, you are, in a way, telling the universe that you wish to live with more balance. This has both a practical and a symbolic effect. Repetition creates fertile ground for health to strengthen in a stable and continuous way. It's not about rigid discipline, but about presence. When you are attentive to what you do, even the act of preparing coffee or stretching your arms becomes a form of profound self-care. Many older adults feel that, as time passes, mornings have become a burden. Waking up with aches, without purpose, or with repetitive thoughts is a common reality. Cayce didn't deny these challenges, but he taught us to see them through different eyes. He said that even pain can be an invitation to adjust, a way for the body to ask for attention. If you get up and already feel the weight of the day, perhaps it's time to review not only your habits, but also how you relate to them. Seeing the morning as a space for rebuilding can completely change your relationship with time. After all, even with limitations, it's still possible to choose the tone of your day, and that begins with small gestures. Another relevant point in Cayce's readings is that the spirit needs routine just as much as the body. Many people think that spirituality is something distant, reserved for moments of prayer or reflection. However, Cayce saw spirituality in practical choices. For him, getting up calmly, taking care of one's body, respecting one's own limits, and maintaining a positive outlook first thing in the morning were spiritual attitudes. This is because by acting this way, seniors connect with their essence and prepare their inner field to face daily challenges with more wisdom. It's not necessary to perform grand ceremonies, but rather to live with intention, and mornings are the perfect ground to cultivate this kind of silent and transformative connection. It's worth remembering that aging naturally brings new needs. The body changes, rhythms alter, and care needs to be adjusted. But this doesn't mean living limited or in fear. Cayce argued that old age can be lived with vigor, clarity, and even more joy than other phases of life. To do this, however, one must start at the beginning of each day. He said that how you wake up is often how you will live the rest of your hours. Therefore, valuing this moment is a choice of wisdom. The morning should not be seen as a stage to be overcome, but as an opportunity to renew yourself each day, with gentleness and consciousness. As the years go by, it's natural for attention to turn more to the past. However, Cayce encouraged seniors to also look to the present and to what can still be lived with quality. He said that there is no right age to start over, and that each morning offers a miniature rebirth. By choosing to avoid these 7 morning mistakes, you're not just taking care of your health, but also reaffirming your desire to remain active, present, and connected with life. The decision to change doesn't depend on the time that has passed, but on the willingness to do things differently now. And that choice is within your reach every morning, without exception. It's important to remember that no one is immune to slip-ups. Even those who are familiar with Cayce's advice or strive for a more balanced life might from time to time fall into old patterns. The secret is to observe, without guilt, and get back on track whenever necessary. Cayce believed that spiritual and physical progress doesn't come from perfection, but from persistence. The next morning will always bring a new chance to try again, with more awareness. It's not about never making mistakes, but about learning from what each morning reveals about oneself. By carefully observing your own morning habits, you begin to understand what needs to be maintained, adjusted, or left behind. This honest gaze is the true starting point for a longer and more meaningful life. Many older adults face a feeling of loneliness upon waking. The silence of the house, the absence of urgent commitments, or the lack of someone to talk to first thing in the morning can make mornings emotionally difficult. Cayce knew this and advised seniors to seek personal rituals of reconnection. It could be a prayer, a short reading, listening to calm music, or even talking to plants. These are attitudes that nourish the spirit and help shape the day. Being alone doesn't have to mean being disconnected. By creating a meaningful routine, even solitary moments transform into spaces for reflection and inner strengthening. The important thing is that the morning is not left to chance, but lived with attention and self-affection. Another less discussed but relevant aspect is the impact of news right after waking up. Many seniors have a habit of turning on the television or radio immediately, being bombarded with negative information. Cayce wasn't against information, but he warned about the kind of energy with which one starts the day. He argued that the first contact should be with oneself, with one's own body, and with what truly nourishes one internally. Reading something positive, reflecting in silence, or simply breathing calmly are healthier ways to begin. Filling the mind with external worries right after waking up disorganizes thoughts, increases anxiety, and takes focus away from the real needs of the body and soul. It's interesting to note how many of these pieces of advice remain relevant, even after so many decades since Cayce's visions. This is because he spoke about universal principles that don't age with time. How you wake up, the quality of your first thoughts, the care you give your body when getting out of bed, and the intention you put into your morning actions reveal a great deal about how you live. Small changes, made consistently, shape a healthier life. Cayce didn't promise miracles, but he showed paths. And the most effective paths, according to him, always began with small attitudes first thing in the morning. As we conclude this video, the most important thing isn't to memorize the 7 mistakes, but rather to remember that your morning has value. Each new day is a blank page, and how you fill it defines not only your hours, but also your long-term health. Even if you correct just one habit at a time, that's already the beginning of a great transformation. Cayce believed that old age doesn't have to be a time of waiting, but of quiet, firm, and conscious building. And it's in that spirit that we leave this message. Care for your morning as you would care for a garden. With consistency, respect, and intention, the fruits will come naturally. If this content resonated with you, please consider sharing it with others who might also benefit. And if you'd like to receive more practical reflections like this, subscribe to the channel. Here we always strive to offer real paths to live better, with clarity and dignity at every stage of life. Cayce's advice isn't just old ideas, they are seeds for the present. And when applied with attention, they transform not only the body, but also how we perceive our own time. Start tomorrow in a different way. The first step might be closer than you imagine,